Hi everyone, I'm Kim Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from around the country. The Vatican has released a statement in the wake of a grand jury report on clergy sexual abuse in 6 dioceses in Pennsylvania, calling the abuse described in the report criminal and morally reprehensible. The statement came after the Pennsylvania Attorney General held a news conference August 14th announcing a 900-page report detailing decades of child sexual abuse by 301 priests who harmed more than 1,000 victims. In the statement, Greg Burke, head of the Vatican press office, said these acts were betrayals of trust that robbed survivors of their dignity and their faith. The Church must learn hard lessons from its past, and there should be accountability for both abusers and those who permitted abuse to occur. The spokesman said the Holy Father understands well how much these crimes can shake the faith and the spirit of believers, and reiterates the call to make every effort to create a safe environment for minors and vulnerable adults in the Church and in all of society. In news from the Vatican, during the recitation of the Angelus prayer on the Feast of the Assumption, Pope Francis asked the crowd in St. Peter's Square to join him in praying for those who died August 14th when a large span of a highway bridge collapsed in Genoa, Italy.
Penso in particolare a quanti sono provati dalla tragedia avvenuta ieri a Genova, che ha provocato vittime e smarrimento nella popolazione. Mentre affido alla misericordia di Dio le persone che hanno perso la vita, esprimo la mia spirituale vicinanza ai loro familiari, ai feriti, agli sfollati e a tutti coloro che soffrono a causa di questo drammatico evento. Vi invito a unirvi a me nella preghiera per le vittime e per i loro cari.
At least 38 people died in the collapse and 15 others were injured. Dozens of vehicles dropped when a huge tower in a section of the Morandi Bridge collapsed. The bridge, which was built in the 1960s, is on the A10, which is Italy's main roadway with France. In news from around the country, in a letter addressed to all Catholics, Cardinal Daniel DiNardo, president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, laid out 3 goals just established by the Bishops' Executive Committee to address the new moral scandals facing the U.S. Church. The first goal is a full investigation into the questions surrounding Archbishop Theodore McCarrick, which will include a request for the Vatican to conduct an apostolic visitation into these questions in concert with a group of expert lay people who will be empowered to act. Cardinal DiNardo described the second and third goals, respectively, as an opening of new and confidential channels for reporting complaints against bishops and advocacy for more effective resolution of future complaints. The 3 goals, he said, will be pursued according to 3 criteria: proper independence, sufficient authority, and substantial leadership by laity. In addition to these goals and criteria being presented to the full body of bishops at their Baltimore Assembly, the Cardinal said he will go to Rome to present them to the Holy See and to urge further concrete steps based on them. In closing the letter, the Cardinal said, "I apologize and humbly ask your forgiveness for what my brother bishops and I have done and failed to do." He said, whatever the details may turn out to be regarding Archbishop McCarrick or the many abuses in Pennsylvania or anywhere else, we already know that one root cause is the failure of episcopal leadership. The result, he said, was that scores of beloved children of God were abandoned to face an abuse of power alone. This, he said, is a moral catastrophe, and the U.S. bishops firmly resolve, with the help of God's grace, never to repeat it. More news from the Vatican. The Vatican announced this past week that Pope Francis has appointed a Venezuelan archbishop to be the new substitute secretary for general affairs. The position is similar to a president's chief of staff, placing him in charge of the Vatican's day-to-day operations. Rome Reports has more on the appointment.
The name of the new substitute for general affairs of the Secretary of State has been announced: Edgar Peña Pará. His position is one of the most politically important in the Vatican, after Cardinal Pietro Parolin and the Pope. Edgar Peña Pará is from Maracaibo, Venezuela, and until now he was the apostolic nuncio in Mozambique. He previously filled a difficult position as nuncio in Pakistan. During the 13 years there, he faced difficult cases such as that of Isaiah Bibi, or attacks on Christian communities by the Taliban. He will begin on October the 15th, replacing Angelo Bajou, new prefect of the Congregation for the Causes of Saints.
And finally in the news, the Archdiocese of Boston has announced that Cardinal Sean O'Malley will not be attending the upcoming World Meeting of Families in Dublin, Ireland. The statement said that the Cardinal needed to stay in the Archdiocese to attend to matters pertaining to the pastoral care of St. John's Seminary and the seminarians enrolled in the formation program. The move comes after allegations were made on social media about activities at the seminary that are directly contrary to the moral standards and requirements of formation for the Catholic priesthood. In the wake of those allegations, the Cardinal has appointed a group to oversee an inquiry into the culture of the seminary and any seminary issue or sexual harassment or other forms of intimidation or discrimination. The Cardinal was to moderate a panel safeguarding children and vulnerable adults at the World Meeting of Families. The statement said that while the Cardinal will not be able to join the panel, he will closely follow the proceedings from Boston. Well, that's all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV network.